Today's video is all about sensory and sensory tools. You guys said you wanted more videos for sensory ideas and sensory play, so I pulled together some of my favorite sensory tools for you to take a look at. A portion of this video is sponsored by Blue Gato. Hey you guys, it's Christina from the Purple Alphabet. I like sensory play. We do a lot of that here on the Purple Alphabet, and you guys are telling me you're always looking for some new ideas. I do have a ton of other videos out there about sensory play and sensory ideas and sensory games and sensory activities, so you gotta be sure to check those out. I'll put a couple of them down below in the description box so you can watch them after you watch this video. In this video, I kind of want to talk about sensory tools and some of my favorite sensory tools that you might already have around your house, some that you might want to purchase, and then some that are just absolutely beautiful. So let's get started talking about some favorite sensory tools and ways that you can use them. You guys, the things I'm showing you today, I have put into my Amazon store. So there's a link in my description box that will take you right to the store. You're going to look for the sensory section. And in that section, you're going to find what I'm going to show you today, plus some favorites from the past that I've shown you before, and some other things that I have found that I think are great items to have in your house, especially if you have a sensory seeker. The first thing I want to talk about are squish balls or squishies, or depending on what you want to call them. I have a couple of different ones to show you. This one is probably your more mainstream one. They're kind of like little foam animals. You can find them in all kinds of different shapes. This one is a s'mores. You can find them in so many different ways. They've been popular for some years now. My kids have loved these in every single shape, not only because they are cute, but because they have a lot of squishability. I like to squeeze these. It's very similar to a stress ball. So if you have a stress ball, that's kind of what it's like, but it's really fun because you can find so many different shapes, colors, sizes. This one's really extra big, which is why I like this. I want to show you this one. Next up is this plastic squishy. Inside, I don't know if you can see that there are little Orbeez-like balls inside. So when you squeeze it, you have a different sensation, and you can also see them kind of poking through. Now, this one is probably one of the more expensive ones that I've purchased. It is rather large. I recently showed you in my Dollar Tree shop with me that they had a couple of these there at Dollar Tree, and they were fruit themed, but they seem to be going really fast. So that is an option. Otherwise, you can find these in all kinds of different styles and different shapes, and the name brand ones do seem to be a little bit better quality. People have asked me about these bursting before. We have had a few in the past that have gotten holes, but it didn't create a big mess. It'd just be like a little tiny hole. This one's held up a few years. There's also little beads in here that you can look and find. There's like a little yellow heart, and then down here at the bottom I saw another blue something in there too. They can be a lot of fun. And then we also have these little tactile things for the hair, kind of like a water balloon. Then we have these squish balls. This one my kids have been really liking recently. Inside there's just a whole bunch of glitter, and when you squeeze it, it kind of takes a minute to bounce back, but then it goes in the shape of a ball. So they've been really liking that. Just another example of a stress ball. Then I also found this set of sensory balls on Amazon. Just got them and haven't really tried them. I just thought they were kind of interesting, so I can't attest to how long they'll last or the quality, but they are very similar that you squish them and you can see kind of like Orbeez beads in there, and then there's like this tactile feeling on them. And I have two different ones of the little spiky ones. This one has like rainbow inside, and this one has like pink and blue and red inside. And then these two, very similar, but they have a different texture. The little balls inside are a little bit harder than these. And then I have two different colors, so red and blue, and a rainbow one to them. So I just want to point out that these are available. They do exist on Amazon. You're going to see a whole variety of different types, so be on the lookout for those. These are not name brand. These are kind of a generic one, but they do feel like they're going to hold up. Then I also found these. These are called Super Sensory Textured Stretchy Strings. There's 6 of them in here, and they recommend them for ages 3 and up. Also thought this would be a great find for therapists, occupational therapists. So we have 6 different texture designs inside here. This one is called the rope, and it's kind of got a ribbing on it. This one's called the car wash, has little spikies on it. They're not really hard spikies, they're very soft spikies. This is called a totem. Then we have another ribbed one in pink, and then this one is like a snake skin. There's like a texture on here that feels like kind of rough. And then this one is called rock wall, which has little bumps all the way over it. So they all have different ones. If you look on here, there's also a little chart that says they're softer and firmer. So some of these are a little bit softer than the others. So the snake skin one is the most firm one, and then the softest one is the rope, which is this one. So as far as texture goes, but they are made to stretch and squish and play with and fidget with. so you can see how far they go. I've also seen these in glow in the dark. They also come in super stretchy. They are a really unique and fun fidget toy, and you might find one that your child prefers over the other. So this is definitely a good option to have, especially if you're doing a sensory toolkit. I actually made a whole video about making a sensory toolbox, and this would be a great item to put inside there, especially since you have so many options. Next up, I have these poppets, and I've showed you these before. However, they are wildly popular right now on Amazon. These are the two that I've showed you before, and then I have some new ones to show you too. So these are silicone fidget toys. This one has little bubbles that go all the way across the circle, and then you can just pop them back into place. There are actually games that people play with these too, and I'm not sure about the games. I've also seen therapists use them as counters. So if maybe you are doing a reward system or you're counting that you do something in therapy, they would mark it for showing one. And then when they get all the way across or they finish a row, they get like to do a special something. But this is a fun fidget toy, and they come in so many different shapes and sizes. Wildly popular, lots of different colors in this too. And then this one is the same concept, but it's on a keychain, which is a great fidget toy, just on a smaller scale, and it fits right in your hand. So if you need something to fidget with in your hands, this is a great sensory tool for that. And let me show you a couple of the other styles that I've recently found. So on Amazon, you're going to find a ton of different styles in these poppets. They have rainbow ones, they have ones in different shapes, they have small ones, big ones, keychain ones. So you're going to find quite the variety. Just take a peek, look around, and pick one of your favorites. You can also find some really pretty sensory tools to use in sensory bins or even with Montessori activities. This is from Blue Gato, who's sponsoring this video, and it's their sensory bin tools box. And inside here we have some beautiful things. So the tools inside of here are a great size. I would say that if you can see in comparison to my hand here, that they are going to be perfect for doing some activities. So we have a bowl here, and we have this cup, and we also have 2 spoons and 2 different tongs. They are beautiful tools to have around. If you've ever done Montessori activities, you know that Montessori likes to put an emphasis on having their presentation done beautifully as well as the tools that they use done beautifully. So if you are looking for your non-plastic tools, this is definitely something to consider. Also, the size of these are great for children's hands, and because they are wooden, they are just absolutely beautiful. So tools are used for fine motor exercises. So if I took out a fine motor bin, I have my pom-pom bin here. If you have a sensory bin, say for rice or for sand, you can also use this for that. So you could do a couple things. You could be filling up your bowls using the tools, or you could be using your hands individually depending on the skill of the child. You can be also using this for a transfer activity. So a Montessori transfer activity is taking items from one cup and putting them into the other and then back and forth. You can be using these for fill and dump. You can be using the tongs to help work on your fine motor and picking up one individually. You don't even have to use them with a sensory bin. You could have the pom-poms lined up to pick one by one for counting activities. Color sorting, maybe you're picking up one color only, and then using the tongs to pick them up or using the tongs to transfer. These are absolutely beautiful. You're going to be using a set like this for a long time, or you can use it with your individual activities if you're doing counting or Montessori transferring. These would work perfectly, and they are just a great weight, great quality, and great size. Not only that, I do have a coupon code for you that is down in the description box, and it's a limited time coupon. So if you are interested in trying this out, it's an Amazon coupon. I'm going to put that link down below in the description box so you can go take a look. My next sensory item is Aaron's Thinking Putty. I have mentioned this quite a bit. It's been in our activity kits because it's such a huge hit, but I do like the Aaron's Thinking Putty because it gives that look and feel of slime, but it is so much better. So it looks like it's going to be very slimy, but once you get it out of this container, it is great to work with. This one's the Angry Putty, and the reason why I've been talking about the Angry Putty is because it has great sensorial purpose plus working for hand strength on this. So this one is in Drama Queen Purple. I think we have the red one too. There's actually glitter in it, so it looks really pretty. But the thing with Angry Putty is that the more you pull and stretch it, the harder and harder it gets. So if you're working as an occupational therapist, or a pediatric OT, this is great for hand strength, a little bit of hard work because it gets more difficult as you pull it and pull it. And the thing about it is it doesn't leave a residue on your skin, so it feels really nice to play with. So if you have a child with sensory issues and they're afraid of touch, it's not going to be left on their skin and they're not going to want to wipe it off on anything. It is sticky, but it's more like a tacky sticky, and the texture is still smooth. It doesn't feel wet and cold, but it is a little sticky. And then when you stretch it, you're going to get that benefit of working those muscles for finger strength, hand strength, and then also the sensorial of relaxation because you're kind of working out the stress. So you can see how far you can stretch it. You can just stretch it over and over, see how many times you can stretch it. And it's just a really fun way to incorporate some sensory elements for a sensory seeker or to work on a child that has some sensory difficulties. It's just a great texture. And then when you put it back in here in the nice little storage container, it will kind of settle on out and you can play with it again and again. So there's some different colors in this. I want to see what I can find on Amazon to share with you. This one's the Drama Queen, which is purple. Then we have the red one that we have here. I might have some other colors too, but I really like this one. It doesn't feel gross in my hands, which is the number one thing. So really consider this, the Crazy Erin's Angry Putty. Next up is for this sense of smell combined with some fine motor. So this is Silly Scents Dough. This Silly Scents brand is from Crayola, and actually I'm going to show you two things. First one is the dough. Now, Dollar Tree, I just showed you guys in a shop with me that they have them the full size for $1. I'm not 100% sure what they are at the regular stores, but I do know they have them at Dollar Tree. So this one is the smaller size of grape, this one's green apple, and this one is orange. So the benefit to this is that your dough is already scented for you. You know it's safe and non-toxic. I know a lot of times people like to put essential oils in their dough that they make at home, just totally fine. Just make sure you do your research on essential oils in children before you do that. And this does smell like orange, I can tell you that. So of course, dough is great, just like the stress balls and those squishy balls. It's great for your fine motor strength, strengthening the hands, strengthening the fingers. Great for imaginative play. You can also shape the dough into different letters, shape them into different shapes, into balls. You can put them together and use them as counters if you were going to do individual balls like this. So that's the way you can put them into your learning activities. I know a lot of people like to shape the dough into different letters when they're learning their alphabets, make them into dough shapes or to flatten them out with cookie cutters and to do shapes like that too. So dough has a really good benefit for that. But if you can add in that sensory element of smell too, then it just takes it one step further. So be on the lookout for this. I can smell the orange all the way from here as I was working with the dough. Different scents. Maybe your child is liking one over the other, and that's totally fine. You can experiment and try different ones. Another fun way to do this is to get the Silly Scent markers. This is a big package here that my daughter got for a gift one time. And inside here we have the Silly Scent markers, which are the same thing. They do all smell. We have them in the fine tip markers too, and then they also have them in the twistable crayons over here. So you can get quite a variety from Crayola if there's a particular way that your child likes to do art on themselves. And so they all smell, plus they're colorful, so you can do some creations, or you could just use these as tools when you're doing your activities. So just a different way that I want to show you how you can combine sensory. And you might already have some of these things at home. I know these are pretty popular things. You might already have them in your closet, so you could be using these instead of your regular crayons, or using this dough versus your regular dough. If you have a favorite sensory tool, I'd love to hear about it. Leave a comment down below, let me know all about it. I like reading your comments. You guys always do have some really good ideas, and I like that you guys share. It's just amazing. I love that. You guys click subscribe to see more videos like this and give me a thumbs up to show your love.